a staff using AI, basically by focusing on AI personas and why they are the single most important part of building an entire system of bots inside of your real estate school, inside of your real estate practice, if you own a brokerage, doesn't matter. These personas are critical to building a staff of employees that live right inside of ChatGPT or Claude or any other sort of platform that you're using. Now, as a quick review of today, we're going to go over three things. We're going to revisit what we talked about last month. And Mike, this will be a review for you. But for those of you that haven't been on one of these webinars before or haven't heard me talk about it, there are three components that make a good AI bot, regardless if it's something you build yourself or it's a bot that is a really complex looking product. And then we're going to talk about why that AI persona is the most critical part of that bot. And then we'll start to go into the components of how you write these AI personas more effectively. So why are personas so important? And I think it's important to keep this in context when going throughout all of this. And that is that anybody that tells you, here is a magic prompt that will make your use of AI instantly better, it's a disservice to you. And most people that tell you that don't understand what they're actually saying. But the prompts are not the most critical part of using AI. It is the information and the data and the context that you give your AI platform that you're using. So last month, we talked about what those three components of building your own Claude project or custom GPT look like. You have to tell a bot how to do something, you have to give it context, and you have to tell it what to do. How to do something is pretty simple. That's your step-by-step instructions, similar to what you would give an employee. And your context is any sort of technical data, any sort of manual you might have, samples of information and product that you've created. It's basically that aptitude knowledge that, again, you would give an employee. But what to do, your AI persona, that's your job description. That helps that bot understand the context of the role that it plays and what it's trying to do. And it is the heart and soul of any sort of AI that you're using. If it doesn't have that heart and soul, it just becomes a machine. But the benefit of AI is that it helps you translate your own way of thinking, your own way of writing, your own way of speaking, your own way of being into these platforms that take things that used to take hours of time and condense it down to just a few moments. And this AI persona is the missing link for that. If a bot doesn't have a persona, it's just performing bland, predictive tasks and just spitting out information. So,
which we could do better than it can.
It 100% absolutely can. That's the absolute truth of it. Now, the bots, when the bots understand what this persona information is, it will actually make the other things that you put into your AI bot that much better. So those work instructions, those step-by-step instructions, you can actually have very poorly worded instructions, and a persona will still help you produce better output than you would otherwise. And we'll actually play around with that here in a little bit to show you the difference of what that looks like. When we talk about the data, that technical data, that technical information, remember these AI bots have been trained on gazillions of bytes of information. I mean, just ridiculous. I saw a stat the other day that said to train the latest model of ChatGPT, it took enough energy to power 150 homes for a year to train the bots. So what that basically means is there's a lot of information in there already. And that AI persona will actually help ChatGPT, Claude, these different platforms understand how to contextualize that information for your specific purpose. It's kind of like if you hire the best agent or the best instructor, They could be the smartest people with the best grades that know how to technically do everything, but they can still fail inside of your school or your brokerage because they don't have a soul and a personality and a way to take all of that immense amount of information and put it to valuable use. That's why the persona is so incredibly key, and why just giving somebody a prompt that says, put in this prompt and do everything you want, is such a disservice. So here's a little experiment. We're actually going to go through this right now. We're going to put this prompt in: write me 20 social media posts that I can use to market my real estate school. And we'll see what Claude puts out, right? So write me 20 social media posts for my real estate school. Very, very general prompt. And it's going to write out these 20 social media posts, and it's going to start by giving us the first 5, right? Ready to launch your real estate career. Our course start X date. Learn from industry experts, get certified in X number of weeks. Very feature oriented, right? The average real estate agent in your state earns X number of dollars per year. Start your journey to financial freedom with our comprehensive training program. Very general stuff, right? Now, if we go back to the next one, let's use an AI persona that first, before we use that prompt, with how we would write that content. So an AI persona format looks like this, and that you're going to give it purpose, personality, and professionalism. And what I'm going to do is just start a new chat here, and I'm going to give that a little bit of content and creativity right now. So we'll say you are a social media copywriter and marketing director for a real estate school that produces social media posts daily. Your personality is creative, focused on dynamic but simple language that people easily understand. All right. And our audience is new real estate agents that have never practiced but are looking to earn their license. Right? This is a very basic persona. And now we're starting this chat, and it will give us an understanding, right? It's giving us a role. And now we say, now write me 20 social media posts that I can use for my real estate school. And let's just see what kind of content comes out here, right? It actually gives us far more specific information, gives us a little bit more details. It actually gave us all 20 posts as opposed to giving us 5 and asking, and I see your hand, Janie, 1 second, and giving us 5 and saying, hey, is this on the right term? It actually gives us very specific content that is oriented towards that particular audience. Now, Janie, you had a question.
Didn't you say the other day when we were in another meeting that certain platforms are better designed for different things, like Chat GPT, Claude? Will you just review that with me real quick?
Yeah. So generally speaking, platforms like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, which is what Google has, Meta, which is what Meta Llama or something like that, which is what Facebook has. They're all designed to be large language models. And what I have found is that Claude is a much better writer. ChatGPT is a much better technical writer. So in other words, I create all my technical manuals inside of ChatGPT, and then I use Claude to produce most of my content and my outputs. Now, every platform may function a little bit differently based on your needs and uses, but I generally use Claude for that purpose. And Meta and Gemini, I would knock off the list. I've never really liked it. And Meta's platform, which again I think is called Llama, is in its infancy stages, so they don't have the features. It's a very good language model, but it doesn't have the features that allow us to create these sorts of bots. But either way, the content that we have between these two chats are significantly different. Right here, a little bit more personal language. Did you help a friend find their dream apartment? You might have a natural talent for real estate. Turn that skill into a career, right? It's a little bit more personal. And again, this isn't even as close as to what it can do when you really train what that AI persona looks like. So what I'm going to implore each and every one of you to stop doing is listening to people that tell you, do this prompt and you'll be fine. It just doesn't work that way. There is way too much information in these language models. There's way too much information used to train these platforms that if you ask somebody who knows everything to tell you what you need, they're going to tell you everything. And that's why it is that we have those three components and why this AI persona is so incredibly critical to what it is that you're doing, right? And I always tell folks, train your AI like you train your employees. And that means a job description. If you bring somebody on from the very first moment, you want them to understand their role. You want them to understand what characteristics they demonstrate. You want them to understand what valuable products that they are producing. You don't necessarily need to even tell them the step-by-step if they understand their role and where they fit in the larger organization. So take what you're doing and turn it into a job description for your AI. And we're going to dive into that document here in a second that we call the AI persona. And I will even tell you this, that when you get good at writing these AI personas for whatever platform you're using, you will actually become better at describing the roles that you want people to play in organizations you might lead, in your own real estate schools, in your own brokerages, because you start to understand that if you can get the AI that has no personality whatsoever to do what you want it to do, it becomes relatively easy to also give people who are craving that sort of information to do the same thing. So it's just an ancillary benefit to it. So now that we've talked about why that AI persona is so critical, let's talk about how to create an AI persona in a step-by-step method. And you will actually get this document as a template that you can copy and use anytime and rinse and repeat anytime that you need it. Now, the three key elements of an AI persona is personality, purpose, and professionalism, the three Ps. So when we talk about purpose, what we do is we tell the bot what its role is in the organization and what it should be producing of value, just like we would an employee. So we want to say that you are filling X role, and these are the 3 or 4 things that you should be producing in that role. Right? Now, in terms of personality, I always like to use the Myers-Briggs personalities to help define how the bot should process information. Now, I know everybody, when I show up at RIA, everybody talks about being a high D or the DISC personalities. That's cool. It's great. It's fine. But the beauty of Myers-Briggs is that it helps to put a framework around how you process information and how you interpret information and how you communicate that information back to people that may have different personalities than you. And if you're not familiar with it, you can go to 16personalities.com and /personality types, and you can read through all 16 personality types, give you strengths, weaknesses, overviews, relationships. I mean, it just gives you for free a ton of information. And these are personality profiles that I absolutely incorporate in some fashion into my AI personas, because different personality types will lend itself to different roles. If I'm using a social media copywriter, somebody that creates vibrant graphics, maybe I'm creating a bot that creates prompts that I can use inside of Midjourney to create images, which, by the way, I have a bot that wrote the prompt for this image right here, right? And it did not have to do much refinement outside of that. Well, I created that bot using a mixture of a virtuoso and an entertainer personality, with elements of an analyst to be able to give it a personality type that understands and evaluates kind of the back and forth of what that image communicates, right? And I only do that because I want this bot to think creatively. I want this bot to think like an artist. So I give it personality traits that help it think like an artist. Remember, if you're training it like an employee, every employee that you pay, every contractor that you pay is a human being, which makes them weird, which makes them cranky, which makes them frustrating, which makes them infuriating, which makes them uplifting and exciting all at the same time. And this is the way that we can take that massive amount of information that AI has and give it some heart and soul in what it's doing. And in creating professionalism, what we want the bot to understand is who the end customer is and ultimately what is valuable for that end customer's needs. So in purpose, we talk about what the need is for our organization. You're playing this role and you're producing X, Y, and Z. Very factual. In terms of professionalism, we're starting to talk about tangible and intangible benefits in terms of what it is that we're producing and why for the person that has to ultimately use that product or consume that information. And then it's totally wild when we start mixing in the personality profiling. So when writing this prompt, and yes, I understand that you can call this a prompt, but it's much deeper than that. This is how you write your purpose. You are a fill the role in our company that specializes in providing this product or service. So Janie, in your particular case, you are a marketing consultant in our company that specializes in marketing new builds, right? Bruce, you are a salesperson in our company that specializes in selling new construction properties, right? Mike, in your particular case, you are a real estate instructor in our company that specializes in teaching pre-licensed courses. I mean, you could do this in any number of ways. There's no limit to what it is that you do here. Now, your personality profile are traits that you can find at that Myers-Briggs 16 personalities website. And in using the Myers-Briggs personality profile, you demonstrate the qualities of a type or a combination of types. And in terms of professionalism, your purpose is to help describe your customer by producing these value-added activities or products that we provide. So in Mike, to go back to your case, your purpose is to help students by producing a qualified education that helps them pass the exam on the first attempt, the state exam on the first attempt, whatever it might be. And here's an example. You are a project manager in our company that specializes in developing marketing strategies for real estate instructors, right? Role and what you're supposed to be doing. Your personality is naturally inquisitive, analytical, and very methodical. And using a Myers-Briggs personality profile, you demonstrate qualities of an INTP primarily, which is an introverted, intuitive, thinking, perceptive. And we won't go into the personality types, but I know them because I use them every day. But with also qualities of an ENTP, which is what I am, and an INTJ and an ISTP when it helps perfect the quality of work. Your purpose is to help our company staff by producing work breakdown structures and project plans that ensure client marketing projects are done on time and on budget. These project plans should follow project management principles. So all of this said here, this is a job description that we could absolutely give one of our staff members if they were a real person. And that bot, that AI chat would now have context to be able to answer questions as to what it is that we're doing. So now let's go back and test this out a little bit. What I want to do is just have a volunteer, and I'll let you decide whoever the first one to pipe up will be. What we're going to do is create you an AI persona. Who's it going to be?
You go, Bruce.
I always go first, but I'm glad to take it if y'all want.
Will this chat bot do my PowerPoint for my class?
It could get you.
It can.
It could, yes. Now
Our PowerPoints, yeah.
It couldn't do all the designing for you. I wouldn't trust it to do that, but I would definitely trust it to write content for you. Absolutely. 100%. Okay, so let's just say AI persona for Bruce. Let's make that copy. Bruce, you get a copy of this document afterwards. What role in your company do we want to fill?
Well, let's go to a marketing person.
Okay. We'll say a marketing specialist in our company that specializes in what kind of marketing?
Residential sales, and is all things media related. So they do print, they do social media, they do any electronic, all of it.
Okay, print and digital media.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. That's a perfect description right there. Okay, so what are their personality traits?
They're going to be a bit quirky because we serve mainly the Latino community. However, that being said,
okay,
they're going to be very customer service based. They're going to be knowledgeable. They're going to be an expert, if anything, in knowledge. And they also need to be scrutinizing to the law. So they have to know legal, advertising, and marketing rules, laws, etc. Code of ethics, standard of practice with NAR, all that stuff.
And patient and kind.
okay, of course.
Not in marketing.
Not in marketing.
That's my job as a BIC.
Okay. And are you familiar enough with Myers-Briggs that you would want to select one of those personality types?
Well, I want them to be extroverted.
Okay.
I think they need to be thinking. I can do the whole diagnosis. They need to be extroverted, thinking, perceptive, and I'm missing the one in the middle. So they need to be, well, a virtuoso because they need to be creative.
Okay. So we'll say probably what you're describing is an ESTP and an ESFP, but basically an explorer type personality.
Go for it.
And that's what I would say is probably of explorer personality types, which include ESTP,
ESTJ.
No, ESTJ is a different one. Yeah. The thing about explorers is that they're not actually very judgmental. They're very flexible.
Like the ESTP-A, the entrepreneur.
Yep. And I'm going to add in there ESFP with balanced with ISTP, ISFP. All right, let me just confirm. Yep. Okay. So we've given it a personality here. Now, who is the end customer of this marketing?
Married couples and single females.
Okay, so our purpose is to help married couples and single females. And what is it that we want to help them do?
To gain generational wealth through real estate obtainment.
By producing marketing that helps, by helping them produce generational wealth through real estate
purchases.
or
ownership, whatever. Yeah, that's
perfect. So okay, so we have the basic tenements now of an AI persona, and what we want to do is go ahead and start a new chat. We can paste this in. Okay. And now we've given this chat a context on the type of marketing, right? And it says here, right, I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and dive into the exciting world of residential real estate marketing. As a quirky but knowledgeable marketing specialist with a passion for helping people build their futures through property, I'm about finding creative ways to connect dream homes with dream buyers. Pretty standard, pretty standard statement there, right? So so we've trained this bot. Now let's put it to work. Now let's say, all right, let's create 5 VSL scripts that can be used to build awareness for our brokerage. Right. So it's going to whip up some VSL scripts that we can use. And of course, what we would do at this point is work with this bot, much like we would with an employee, to help refine all of this information. Now, think about it. If we had I'm going to copy this information, paste it into a new Google Doc, and then we're going to use that same prompt. Let's create 5 VSL scripts that can be used to build awareness for a real estate brokerage that caters to our ideal customer, right? And then we'll just compare the 2 of them and see how the outputs work. Oh no, we want to file new document. Let's just paste that in there. Okay, so there are our scripts, right? And we'll just make it easy to find that one. Okay.
This is what she just created, right?
This is what your AI persona just created.
Got it.
Now, what we're going to do is just compare that with a new chat that has a really basic prompt.
Okay.
Right? Create 5 VSL scripts that can be used to build awareness for a brokerage that sells residential real estate to married couples and females. Right? No training, no context. And look, what is the chat asking for here? Specific features or selling points, particular pain points or desires, prefer a certain tone or style for these scripts, specific length that you want, any legal or ethical guidelines. So what the chat has asked us for is persona training.
Mm-hmm.
And rather than just go right into it by providing this document here that took us, 2 minutes to write?
Mm-hmm.
It's asking for that information in the chat here. We don't even have anything to compare because the previous chat gave us those VSL scripts right here. And let's just read through them real quick, right? Hey there, future homeowner. Ever wondered how some families seem to have it all figured out financially? Well, let me let you in on a little secret. It's probably real estate. I'm Bruce from, I forget what your broker.
Auburn Realtors.
Yeah. And we're on a mission to help you kickstart your journey to generational wealth. Imagine this. You're sipping a cup of coffee on your porch of your very own home, watching your investment grow with every passing year. Sounds pretty sweet. Well, that's not just a dream. It's a goal that we can help you achieve. At Brokerage, we specialize in turning renters into homeowners and homeowners into savvy investors. And whether you're a power couple ready to make your mark or a single lady boss taking charge of your financial future, we've got the expertise to guide you every step of the way. Don't let another year slip by without building your legacy. Visit our website. Give us a call today. Let's start by laying the foundation. It's got a pretty good start there on a VSL. Now, of course, just like with any employee, you're not going to take what they give you and just run with it without editing, but it's gotten you 90% of the way there. And that's actually a pretty damn good VSL that if I put you on camera, Bruce,
Yep.
we have an ad that we've just created just like that.
Yep, I could do that.
Right. And this is why it is so critical that AI personas are part of using any AI platform. Before you start asking the AI to do work, train it on its job. Absolutely train it on its job. Anybody else want a persona? And I saw you pop up on camera, so I've got just a tingling that you might be interested in creating a persona for yourself right now.
Sure, that'd be great. Yeah, I didn't realize had my camera off for a little bit.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, okay, sure, I'd love to. All right.
So let's get this document copied. What is the role in your company that you want this persona, this bot to play?
Okay, I'm the real estate education director of my company.
Okay.
So I specialize in online continuing education, online real estate education.
Okay, so you are a real estate director in our company that specializes in online real estate education. Okay,
Right.
perfect. Now, what sort of personality traits do you want this persona to have?
Okay, so creative. I mean, I'm just gonna throw out a bunch of adjectives, and you
Sure.
find the traits that you find what creative, engaging, intelligent, a good writer, professional. What else? Professional. Let's see. Just able to connect with students, solid teaching abilities, great teaching abilities.
Okay. No, I mean, those are all very good traits. So now one of the tricks that I will always tell folks to do is familiarize yourself, if you're not already familiar with the personality types. Just click on one of the personality types and you'll see here strengths and weaknesses, friendships, parenthood, career paths, workplace habits. This will give you a very good understanding of different personality traits. And this is the personality trait of my wife, so I just naturally gravitate to it because I just love her and I think she's amazing, right? So I always want my bots, if able, to demonstrate these sort of personality types. So when I go to strengths, right, these are the things that I can put in if I create a bot for this purpose: supportive, reliable, observant, enthusiastic, hardworking, good practical skills. I can actually copy and paste this if I really wanted to into the AI persona, right? And I want to also, when I look at their weaknesses, say, all right, how do I account for that in my persona? And I'll say, you're not too humble, like you're proud of your skills, you're impersonal and very practical in what you do, you're expressive and not repressive of your feelings, you're open to change and criticism, and you're willing to say, does this reflect me as much as it does as it is good for somebody else? Because look, I will tell you that my wife is way too humble about who she is. She is the best administrator at her hospital, bar none, bar none. And I've met all of her coworkers and they're nice people, but she doesn't have the personality quirks that hold her back that they do. And she just constantly says, well, I'm just not, I don't want to do that. I'm not suited for that. It's too much for me. And I'm like, no. She definitely takes things personally, way too personally sometimes. She definitely represses her feelings, which is good because I'm kind of a nut, right? It's a good balance to who I am and what I am. She is definitely resistant to change, whereas I'm like, shoot, let's just roll the dice and see what happens, right? All of that said, these strengths and weaknesses are very good personality points for the type of personality you want inside of your bot. Now, in this particular case, for Anne, we're looking for somebody that is creative, engaging, intelligent, all of those skills that we talked about. So we probably want to look at one like, I would say an ENTJ, a mixture. I'm going to say demonstrate qualities that balance, an ENTJ with probably, trying to remember which one are the good, probably an ENFP, right? Which is actually a good balance in terms of personality. Okay. Now, who is the end customer for your real estate education?
Real estate licensees,
Okay.
who are, they're not new. They are, they've been in the industry for, maybe a couple of years, and they are looking to renew their licenses by taking CE. So we want to create CE that will help them with become better agents, but also help their customers with whom they're working.
Okay.
How many hours do you teach, Anne?
Our courses are typically about 3 hours each. It just depends on the state. But yeah, so it just depends. I teach, we teach a number of courses. I write 1 million courses a year. So
Well, we'll talk here in a second about it. We have a tool that actually might be good for it.
Okay.
But all of that said, here we go. We had this persona. You're a real estate director in our company that specializes in on-site real estate education. Your personality is creative, engaging, intelligent, good copywriter, professional, et cetera, et cetera. And in using Myers-Briggs, we're going to focus on a balance between an ENTJ and an ENFP. Your purpose is to help licensees by producing CE courses that help them simultaneously meet commission requirements with the need to consistently perfect and master their craft.
Good job.
Right.
That's good.
Now we'll just go ahead and create a new chat. And you don't have to delete this stuff out. I just do because I'm kind of anal retentive like that. So let's start this new chat. Okay, so it's going to give us the same sort of spiel that it gave Bruce. It might be a little bit different today. And it asks, how can I assist you today? So what specifically would you like to do in this particular case?
Think about I'd like to get some ideas for what's the best way to create an online CE course covering the NAR's Code of Ethics requirement.
Okay. Let's create some ideas for how we can create a CE course on the NAR's Code of Ethics requirements. All right. So again, very generally speaking, right? And here's some ideas. You can create a course that includes these particular case studies with a dilemma simulator. You can add comparative analysis. You can do panel discussion. So it gives you a bunch of different ideas on how you can start to write this course. Now, the funny thing about this is that, and Mike, you can comment on it if you've been able to put it to good use. We actually have a course creator that we built using an AI persona with a bunch of educational knowledge and whatnot. that writes courses for you in the span of just a couple of minutes. And I've enjoyed it. I'm starting to use it. I'm starting to use it because I just finished up my licensing course. And now I'm starting to teach CE courses at brokerages around our part of Georgia quite a bit. So now I can produce courses in just a few moments. But all of that said, because we've trained that bot on how to think about this role, it's giving us some ideas. And now we can sit there and go through these ideas and say, hey, how would we refine this information? How might we change this information? What might we do with this information? So these are just 10 wild ideas. Anything specific that you would like the bot to take a next step in doing?
How about creating an outline for the course?
Okay, let's create an outline for this course that takes into account 3, 6, and 9, right? And I'm just giving it some context here in terms of how to write this course. And here's an outline. And it just kind of writes a brief outline here of how this course would look. You know, the origin of the code, the major revisions, the recent updates, the duties to customers, duties to realtors, ethical considerations in a digital age, this decision-making framework, case studies, you know, some quizzes and whatnot. So it's giving you an outline. Now, this is just providing the persona information. Imagine what the bot can do if you have all 3 of those components in there in terms of step-by-step instructions on how to write a course and technical knowledge on course writing, online education, things like that. So Bruce, Ann, thank you for being guinea pigs. I will actually send you these documents when we're done, and you can use them to your heart's delight, in addition to everybody getting this blank template. Now, some conclusions that we can use to wrap all of this up. Again, I've said this before. This is technically a prompt. I get it. But it's not a prompt. This is job training. This is a job description. And if nothing else, if you don't use Claude projects or custom GPTs or anything like that to automate this process for yourself, at the very least, use an AI persona at the beginning of every chat that you start inside of ChatGPT or Claude or whatever. It will make your job easier. It will absolutely change the way that you use AI. And it isn't because it's a prompt. It's because you actually think about, you use your human qualities of discernment, emotion, these things that make us human, to tell yourself how you would train somebody as a human to do that job. And you give that information to the AI platform and let it do what it does better than anything else. And like I've said, you can absolutely use this to train employees. And you can use the previous webinar to create whatever bot that you need. I mean, you could literally create dozens upon dozens of very specific bots for very specific purposes inside of your real estate school, your brokerage, if you're just an agent yourself.
Because in China, dogs are trained to take care of young students and drive them.
Okay. Sorry, Robin, had to mute you there, bud. Now, what all of this means is this $20 a month, that's what you pay ChatGPT or Claude to use their premium service, $20 per month. So think about that for a moment. If you're writing CE courses, and you can absolutely create a bot for every type of CE course you want to write. You can create different persona for different class types, for different student types, for whatever. And if you were to have an employee in your school for each of those different types, or even split them up equally between 2, you're talking 6 figures a year. Here, you're talking $250 over the course of a year. I mean, that's how transformative understanding the AI persona is for a business, because it totally democratizes what we are able to do. 100%. And I mean, this is no knock on Dearborn or the CE shop or any of these other schools. They're successful because they built models over the course of years, business models that work. But the one thing that makes marketing and business unfair is this general rule that says those who have the most money tend to win. And I kind of think that's bullshit. So this is a way to even the playing field. Right? And not because I think the big guys are evil. I don't. I think the big guys do amazing work. They give us foundations to succeed. But I also want a fair shot to succeed too. And this is an absolute way that you can do that. That's why AI personas are so important, is it begins to equalize the playing field, right? So just remember, resources from this webinar will include these slides. You'll get the recording of this. You get the template, the persona template that you can use as many times as you want and distribute as many times as you want. I don't care how much you share this information. I don't care how much you use it. Well, I do care. I want you to use it as often and as frequently as you possibly can. I genuinely want this to be useful. Now, I will say this as well. Since you stayed through us through this entire webinar, every month we have specials for the people that stay here. And we have 2 specials for all of you to choose from. The first one is our Boss Mode course creator you can get for 50% off. Mike, you've already purchased this bot. You can talk about whether or not you found it useful, any changes we can make. I use it. I'm already creating courses, and I can write these courses in 5 minutes. I mean, it's absolutely tremendous. And I'll show you a little example of it here in a second.
But you still have to do the PowerPoints and the handouts and all that fun stuff.
So the way that I describe it is this. When somebody writes a course, 90% of their time is spent thinking about how they're going to write the course. And that 10% of time is spent on designing, stressing out before the course starts, and creating those handouts. So you're saving 10% of the time for the stuff that is 90% of the product that people see.
Mm-hmm.
So spend 5% of your time writing the course, another 50% of your time creating the slides and the handouts and perfecting the presentation to make it engaging. And then you have this other 30 or 40% of your time freed up to just sit back and relax or create another course, right? Whatever it is you want to do. We also have bots built to help with marketing, and you can purchase both our ideal client profiler and our client value journey for 50% off. It's very, again, if from a marketing perspective, this gives you the foundations of your marketing tools. So if you want to market your real estate school, if you want to market your real estate brokerage, don't do anything if you don't know who you're marketing to. Just don't, because you're just spending money. You're just throwing stuff out there and hope it sticks. These are the tools that will actually build you a strategy in just about 10 minutes. Now, if you want to buy both, we'll give you an extra 10% off, and you can use the code RP2. So for any of these first 2, if you want to buy them individually, RP1, RP2, and in our final moments, any questions that I can answer for you. You can, I'll give you the link to where you can go to in the chat to where you can evaluate these courses or evaluate these products if you'd like. But basically, it's just a pretty simple website. Click on the button, enter your code, and then it gives you the discount right there. So any particular questions, or would you like to see the course creator work real quick in our last 5-10 minutes?
I'd have a question for you.
Go for it.
Whenever you come across AI that is inaccurate and the research that is used has been ineffective in giving you the materials that you want, Is it usually done because the information I've entered into my prompt or into my personality is incorrect or based on
Yeah.
something that I've mistakenly referenced?
Yeah, so it is one of two things. Either because you didn't give the bot context, and we'll actually go into the course creator real quick, and I'll show you how it's built. Because it answers that question, or you've given the bot wrong information. So when I go into my course creators, let's see, where is it? Right here. I have all of this. Well, this is a different course creator here. But I have my training curriculum and I have all of this knowledge base. All of this knowledge base here is what you use to train your bot with the aptitude to write a course. So let me see if I can, where my boss mode course creator is. Bear with me one second.
Well, so like if you're doing one on ethics, you would want to use the code of ethics and the preamble and the standard of practice with NAR.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
as the knowledge base. Yeah.
So in my particular case, our course creator here has a manual in terms of, and this is all the content, right? If you buy the course creator, you get this information. You get a knowledge base manual for, it's a technical manual for how to educate, how to train. There's also a knowledge base on Bloom's taxonomy that we upload. And then we upload our persona training that helps the bot understand who it is that we're training. In our particular case, we've uploaded stuff from our ideal client profile to add what is valuable to our particular ideal clients, right? So we've helped them understand why we're helping them. And then we've given it custom instructions here that helps it go through. So with that said, I mean, we have 5 minutes left. Who wants to write a course real quick? Janie does. Awesome. Okay. Let's write a course.
I do.
All right. So, and keep in mind that we've trained it with all three components at this point, but the persona is the thing that gives this bot the personality to write this course. So what topic of a course would you like to write?
I would like to write a course that is for real estate instructors,
Okay.
and I would like it to be something, tips and tricks that can elevate the learner experience so that they can perform at a higher level so that their students are engaged more, get more, and hopefully be better prepared to pass the test. So
all the while using active learning techniques.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, all the while learning active learning techniques.
And so what's funny is that our course creator is trained on a combination of a lot of knowledge that we learned from folks like you, Bruce, and Teresa, folks that we learned from online learning, folks lessons that I actually learned from my sister, who is an elementary school educator. It combines a ton of knowledge. So that active learning technique is a part of it, and you'll see it here in a second. So we provided a course topic here. It's going to ask you to confirm what your topic is, right? Advanced techniques for enhancing learner experience in real estate education. This course aims to provide real estate instructors with innovative strategies and best practices. Is this an accurate representation of your course, Janie?
Yes.
Okay. So we
Just
say,
by the way, Chris Inman would love that. If she got the title and a brief summary like that, that's all she needs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So now let's choose some subtopics, right? The bot actually is trained to give us a list of 10 potential subtopics.
Wow.
We can use these if we want to, or we can give it others, right? So are there, I mean, just randomly pick 3.
Interactive teaching methods.
Okay.
Two.
to incorporating technology
Okay.
and personalized learning strategies.
Okay. Let's use.
I'm assuming that personalized learning strategies would be our like Myers-Briggs.
I mean, we'll see.
It could
what
be
the
of
book
learning
says.
styles.
Okay, so thank you for selecting your subtopics. I'll confirm your choices.
Building
Right
bridges.
now, it's going to ask us to choose a theme. Building bridges, real
You're
estate
kidding.
toolbox, navigation, the makeover, or cultivation. Any one of those particularly stand out?
The bridge is kind of what I was thinking because I was to elevate the learner experience. I was kind of thinking escalators, stairs, you know, I don't know, maybe peaks, mountain peaks.
You mean ridges?
Yeah.
Ridges.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so let's use one. And again, we're providing some information here, right? So let's use one, but let's combine with escalators, stairs, mountain peaks, ridges, and the like, things that take people higher.
Mhm.
Right. I mean, that's all that we do.
Balloons.
So excellent choice, right? So now that we have the topic, the subtopic, and the themes, it's going to write the course for us. And so we have
gosh.
subtopics, modules. We have the title of the module, the learning objective for the module, the method that we use, the time that you spend, and the suggested slides that you can use all the way through for the first subtopic, the second subtopic, and the third subtopic. Now, here's the thing. All of this information, you could actually create a second bot that is all about creating the slides. And all you have to do is copy all of this information, take it over to your second bot, and it will write each individual slide for you. And then all you have to do is spend time designing. I will tell you this. I basically did that last night. I created this presentation in about 20 minutes. It's about 40 slides deep, 30 slides deep. And it told me exactly what I needed to go pull screenshots for, what type of content I needed, and what order. And then I just kind of changed things up. I even was able to use that bot to ask me to produce images. So it wrote the prompts for me to use in Midjourney to produce the images for this. So that's the course creator bot. Now, again, does it get you all of the way there? Would you just take this and not do anything with it? No, of course not. But you wouldn't do that with an employee.
Mm-hmm.
But this absolutely just wrote an entire course in 3 minutes. So again, what this would normally take hours, I would imagine. Hours. And now you can spend your time on making something presentable, engaging, and exciting for your students.
Rob, can you add to this prompt the criteria for it to be approved by Arella?
Oh, yeah.
You could.
Good one.
You absolutely could. Although what I would suggest is actually creating a second bot to take this course and then produce an output for Arella.
For Arella. That's wiser, probably.
And what you would need in that particular case is you would need to go back to, you would present the technical manual, the technical information of what Arella uses to evaluate courses, what's required for Arella approval, things along those lines, because that's what the bot is supposed to do. You would write specific instructions, basically the step-by-step process you use to prepare things for Arella approval. And then you would write a persona that reflects the personas of people that work at Arella, which I don't know, but I mean, they're mostly right? I mean,
we better move on to another topic. We're going to get in trouble. I used to be one of those.
You could absolutely do that. 100%. 100%. And you would be able to save yourself a tremendous amount of time. Remember that all of these things, all of our lessons that we've done in previous webinars and this one is all about helping you take advantage of what AI really gives you, which is a democratized opportunity to succeed in an overly psychotic and competitive marketplace.
Psychotic, you got that right.
Yeah, 100%. And after taking that damn real estate course, I understand why agents are so damn psychotic.
Rob, come on, you're not that dumb.
75 hours of misery that I had to
You're
go
gonna pass.
Oh yeah. I passed my final last night, so I'll pass the test when I take it
Good.
the next week or so. But God, I was miserable, and I think I made John L. miserable through the whole thing. So now this course creator bot, if you purchase it, you not only get you basically get everything: the source code, the instructions, the persona, the knowledge base. You also get a custom GPT inside of Chat GPT that you can use. I mean, you get all of that, and it's the same thing with the bots for the ideal client profiler and the customer value journey, the client